Okay, so I'm hoping I can make it through this video because, as I'm sure you're going to hear, the boys are sleeping, or they're not sleeping, they're supposed to be sleeping, but they woke up early, and so I'm hoping I can get through this without them being crazy. So this is going to be, if you watched just my last video, I did like an I'm back video, basically just telling you I'm back. I had like a 3-month hiatus. I had the boys and we're doing good now. We're home, and so I wanted to pick back up on filming and just, you know, watching them as they grow and having these videos. So this is going to be kind of a combined last week of my pregnancy and delivery and NICU story. So this will be weeks 34, 35. I delivered on week 35 exactly. And then I'll kind of tell you a little bit about my C-section and the boys' stay in the NICU. So week 34, my doctor wanted me back here in Wichita Falls no later than 34 weeks. So every Friday I had turned a new week. So I got here literally on week 34 on that Friday. And the house wasn't ready. The boys' room wasn't ready. That's Bauer. Do y'all want to meet them real fast? Let me move this around. We'll go meet them. Hold on. Okay, here we'll meet them. They're watching Zookeeper right now. Here's the boys. Boys, can y'all say hi? This right here is Bauer. Say hi, guys. Say hi. This right here is Branson. Say hey, Branson. Hey. Oh, now Bauer, don't stick that lip out. Don't stick that lip out, Bubba. Don't do it. That's them. They're pretty chill for the most part. They like to hang out and watch TV. Branson right here, he smiles. He's more fun, and this is Mr. Serious. Anywho, so that's it. Okay, y'all be good so Mom can finish her video, okay? Okay? Okay. Alright, let's get back over here. Okay, so, where was I at now? Oh, I got back here 34 weeks. The house wasn't done. The boys' room wasn't done. I wasn't feeling great, but on that Sunday, we had gone to my sister-in-law's house for our niece's birthday, and some of her girlfriends that were there were just noticing like how swollen I was, and I had told Brittany that I had a headache, and she used to be a labor and delivery nurse and work in postpartum, and so she's very knowledgeable about all of this. And so she's like, well, let's just take your blood pressure. So she had a cuff at her house, and we went ahead and took my blood pressure there, and it was like 176/93 or something like that. And so, but she was worried that maybe her cuff just like wasn't like fitting me properly, and so it was giving me like a false reading. So she's like, well, let's just run up to the hospital real fast. We'll use the Bauer again. They eat in like 30 minutes. So anyways, I'm gonna keep going. So let me go get him. Hold up. So anyway, she took me up to the hospital, and we left, and I told my husband, I'm like, I'll be back. I'm just gonna go. Here, you wanna be in the video, son? There you go. And so I said, we'll be back. Just gonna go get my blood pressure taken. So we get there, and she uses a hospital grade cuff on me, and it was dead on, same thing, like 176/93 or something like that. So she went ahead and texted my doctor, let him know what was going on. He was like, go ahead and have her go to antepartum and be admitted for a 24-hour urine watch. So we, you like looking at yourself, Bob? So I was admitted Sunday evening at like 10, and then he let me go. I got discharged at 10 o'clock Tuesday morning, and so I did 24 hours of straight peeing. I got 2 steroid shots to help like develop the boy's lungs. And basically on Tuesday morning, he said that, my blood pressure had come down, but basically because I was just laying there, I wasn't doing anything. And that there was proteins, but not enough to just, keep me there or go ahead and have them. So, but he did want to see me back on Thursday. And like I said, that was Tuesday. So my husband Trey, he's works in Dallas. And so we went ahead and made the decision to have him go back to Dallas. And, so he went back, but my doctor wanted to see me on Thursday. So we went back. My sister took me to the doctor on Thursday, went in, and my blood pressure had gone up even more. It was like 192 over, I don't know, 89, 90. It was high. And my proteins had increased, and he was just like, okay, like, enough's enough. We're going to have babies tomorrow. And I was like, oh, tomorrow. I had no idea that that was even going to happen, because he checked me and my cervix was closed. I wasn't dilated. Like, they were nowhere really near to come out. And so he gave me a couple options and basically said, I could go in the next day. He would start me on Pitocin. I may have to lay there for 2 or 3 days until, it was time. And even then, he said if my blood pressure, shot up, he was going to have to take me for a C-section, or I could schedule a C-section. Didn't matter to him. It was our decision. So I called my husband, and I was like, so don't freak out, but I'm going to need you to turn around and come back home because we're having babies tomorrow. And he was like, what? And so, yeah, so we kind of talked about it, and we just decided that for us, the best route was to just go ahead and schedule the C-section for the next day, get the boys out safely, let my blood pressure start to come down. And so that's what we did. We scheduled the C-section for the next day at noon. So then it was crazy because, like I said, my house wasn't done, contractor's still here, my husband was out of town, what the heck. So yeah, but anyways, so we my doctor told me not to stay on my feet, but at this point I was like, I gotta go to Target, I gotta pack my bag, I gotta pack the boys' bags, everything's gotta be done. So luckily my sister and my sister-in-law, they really came together, and they were just so helpful, and were able to kind of just get everything done. Trey got home that evening, and we went to bed, and up the next morning there was 10 contractors at my house trying to get everything finished. And so we left here about 10 a.m. I was so swollen. I had to get Crocs because no shoes would fit on my feet. It was crazy how swollen and big I was. And so we get to the hospital about 10, maybe a little after. And basically they just start prepping you, and they, get you in your gown, hook you up to the monitors, hook the babies up. Well, not hook the babies up, but get monitors on where their hearts are and stuff. And my doctor came in, he was like, okay, I'm ready, let's do this, let's go. And so it's kind of a scary feeling, very anxious. I was very anxious, first time mom, so I didn't know what to expect. And so it was kind of crazy. You go in and sit in on this cold table, and they lean you forward, of course, to give you your epidural. And I met the anesthesiologist, and she was telling me about her kids. And I get really quiet when I get nervous, and so I was just basically laying there not saying anything to anybody. And then my doctor stood up and said, hey, this is Kelly Burney. She's 35 weeks. We're delivering because of, preeclampsia. And basically everybody kind of went around the room, said who they were. Pediatrician came in. Then Trey got to come in, and the next thing I know, he was saying, okay, I have a really sharp object on your stomach. Can you feel anything? I said no, and a few minutes later, the boys were out. Bauer was the first one. He's baby A, and he was born at 12:34, which I think is pretty cool. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then Branson, baby B, he was born 12:35. It was, I mean, of course it's not painful, but it's just uncomfortable. You can feel like there's somebody in your stomach moving around, and so it was just strange. But she gave me a little bit of morphine at the end, which kind of made me very like loopy and just kind of out of it. And so of course we got the picture of me and Trey and the boys, and I'll put it up here hopefully. You can't probably see it up here, but and I didn't notice it either at the time, but in the picture, Branson, he's got already like a suction ring around his mouth and stuff, and he was already on a CPAP machine like immediately. So neither one of them were breathing like they should have been, and they were just being lazy, and they just didn't want to breathe on their own. And so they immediately had to take them into the NICU. And so in my hospital, I'm sure this is probably the same for most hospitals, but after you have your C-section, you have to go into recovery for a couple of hours just to make sure everything's good. And if your babies are good, then they can come with you. But if not, then they have to go to the NICU. So they went there. I went into recovery with my nurse. Trey was able to come in and bring me these little animals. Well, they're like little blankets that they make into like little animals, and I put it on my chest so that it gets the scent on them. And so he brought me those so that way he could take them back to the nursery, and the boys could have my scent, since we weren't getting to do like any skin to skin or anything like that. So my 2 hours was up. They wheeled me into the NICU for like 2 minutes, and basically I got to see 2 little isolates side by side. I could see that the boys were in there. Bauer right here was 4 pounds 9 ounces, and Branson was 5 pounds 5 ounces. But basically all I could see was just cords and CPAP machines and IVs, and I was still on morphine. Well, I was still feeling the effects of the morphine, so I didn't really know what was going on. So they wheeled me back in my room, and of course I was out of it for a little bit. I finally got to eat something, and my sister-in-law had told me that the faster that you can get up and move and start walking after your C-section, the better. And I totally agree, which I worked out the whole time I was pregnant, and I think that helped a lot too. But you guys, like, get up after you have that C-section and start moving, because the longer you lay in that bed, I feel like it just creates more problems. But so I had the boys at like noon, and then my nighttime nurse came in at 7 or 8 p.m. that night, and basically told me, hey, 4 a.m. I'm coming in, we're getting the catheter out of you, and you're gonna get up, start walking. And I said, great, like I'm ready to go down, see the boys. I still hadn't like seen them. So she came in about 4 a.m. and took my catheter out, and I got up and I walked in. The nurses were like, look at you, like walking in here. And I was like, I'm determined to get out of that bed and walk. And so I think that if you're having a C-section, if you know you are, or if you end up having one, just remember, like, the faster you can get up and start moving, I feel like your recovery is going to be a lot easier. So anyway, so I got to see the boys, and it was just so sad. They just had all these cords and everything around them, and IVs, and so they were about the same. Their little tummies were just like doing this because they were trying to just catch their breath, and they couldn't. They were working really, really hard, and their bodies just, they couldn't keep up. And so their pediatrician came into our room day 3, and I knew that wasn't good to see him, but he came in and basically told us that the boys were getting worse. he looked at their lungs. He showed us the x-ray of their lungs. And so when you see the x-ray of their lungs, like, it should be black, you know, on the inside. And their whole inside of their chest, their lung area, was just like cloudy smoke. So there was, I mean, they couldn't breathe. And so he gave them like this surfactant, and he said, we're gonna have to put them on ventilators. And it just crushed me. Like, as soon as he left the room, I just started bawling. But they only had to be on ventilators for like 2 hours, and it really helped them. It helped them catch their breath and just be able to slow down. And the surfactant that they got just helped wonders with clearing up their chest and stuff. But yeah, seeing them, they had to be like strapped down, and they had these tubes coming out of their mouths. And so anyway, so they were on the ventilators for a couple of hours, and then they got off of that, and they went from like CPAPs to cannulas, and we didn't get to hold them for a whole week because they had this line coming out of their belly button which checks their like arterial gases, and apparently the line is very like sensitive, and so any like little movement can mess up. So we didn't get to hold the boys for a whole week, and it was hard. I mean, I went up to the NICU 3 times a day. We stayed 2 hours each time we were there. I read them books. We kind of, you know, hung out, looked at them because I couldn't hold them. But a week after they were born, they got the lines taken out of their belly buttons, and we finally got to hold them, and it was really cool. And then I think maybe a week later, I finally got to do like skin to skin with both of them, and it was just a different experience. I had no idea, none, because I had such a great pregnancy, that the boys would ever need to be in the NICU at all, much less they stayed there for almost 3 weeks. I mean, I had no idea that this was ever going to happen. And so, but yeah, so it was a tough, it was 17 days total. Well, 18 if you count the night we went up there and stayed with them before we left. But, you know, slowly but surely, like, well, our pediatrician said, you know, they'll take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. And it was so true. They would do good for a couple of days, and then we'd go in and we'd notice that their oxygen level was all the way back up. And so, you know, it just took some time. But as you can see, they are doing good now. They don't miss a meal. They are breathing and drooling. You drooling. They are doing really good, and so, but it just took them a little bit longer, you know, and sometimes I guess it just happens. But we went up there they had to pass a car seat test. In our hospital, again, I don't know if this is how yours is, but any baby born before, I think 36 weeks, they have to pass a car seat test. So you take the bases and the actual car seat up to the hospital, and they put like monitors and stuff on them, and basically they monitor them for 2 hours. If their heart rate drops for so long, or if their stats like mess up for, you know, too long, then they'll fail them, and they don't get to leave until they pass their car seat test. So luckily the boys passed their car seat test the first time. So Trey and I were able to go back up there. They put us in a room right next to the NICU. And the boys finally, on day 18, got to stay, or day 17, day 18, one of the two, got to stay with us in a room, and basically the nurses just came in and kind of checked on us, make sure we knew what we were doing. Like I said, first-time parents. And anyways, we got to leave the next day, and ever since then it's been great. They are thriving, and like I said, they love to eat, and most of the time love to sleep. They didn't nap that great today, which is why they're up right now. But Branson is on. Are you pooping? I think he's pooping. Branson is on Zantac. He's got a little bit of reflux, not too much, but for the most part they do good. Gripe water goes a long way, I'll say that. So anyways, so yeah, so they were born exactly 35 weeks due to my preeclampsia, and we're 4 pounds, 9 ounces, 5 pounds, 5 ounces, 17 days of NICU. I know that's a lot of questions, you know, when were your babies born? Did they have to have NICU time? But honestly, I don't think that, you just never know. Because like I said, I had no issues. I worked out all the time. Up until the 2 weeks before I had them, I had only gained like 45 to 50 pounds, which is what I wanted to do, which is normal for twins. Don't let anybody tell you that it's not. But I ended up gaining almost 70 pounds because the last 2 weeks I had gained like 20 pounds because I was so swollen. I mean, it took forever, by the way, for my swelling to come down. But finally, I don't know how long, maybe a week or so after I had the boys, I woke up and I was like covered. Pew-wee, you stinky. I was covered in sweat, and finally I had my swelling went down, and so I lost about 50 pounds pretty quickly. I think a lot of it was swelling. I got a little bit more to go, but it's hard. It's hard to get back to where you were, at least in my case. It's hard, you know, I mean, oh my gosh. I hope y'all didn't hear that. Oh gosh. I hope that didn't come out of your diaper, goodness. Anyways, it's hard, you know, like, it's been hard the past 3 months with sleeping routines and all sorts of stuff. Luckily now, they're pretty much sleeping through the night. They go down about 9:30 at night, and they can sleep until about 7. Now, sometimes it's 5 or 6, but luckily we don't have their, like, 11 o'clock feeding or 3 a.m. feeding. That's another thing that the NICU did that was great for them was... put them on a schedule. If you could get them on a schedule, do it. So basically in the NICU, they only got fed every 3 hours. They didn't get held a lot. I mean, so when I came home, I kept them on the same every 3-hour feeding. Since I stay at home by myself, Trey's gone to Dallas pretty much all week. I can't hold both of them at the same time, and so rather than hold one and not the other, I mean, obviously, clearly right now I am, but I, normally if they're crying, I leave them. When I was showing you how they were laying side by side, they normally lay like that most of the time, and so they do pretty well. So, but anyways, I just wanted to share the whole, you know, last couple weeks of my pregnancy and how my C-section went, and so now hopefully we can move on and I can start kind of just recording them and showing you kind of how they interact in and out of throughout the days. But I want to do a kind of take you around the house a little bit in my next video, because this one I'm sure is going to be long. And kind of show you what we use. I know that's another question I get all the time from other twin moms is, you know, do I need 2 swings? Do I need 2 of this? Where did they sleep? What did you use? And so I kind of just want to take you, oh look, tired guy. He's tired. I kind of just want to show you around and show you kind of what we use. And then, like I said, after that, we'll just show you our little Bernie boy adventure. So anywho, if you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button, and so you can keep following us on our journey. If you like the video, you can give us a thumbs up, or you can give us a thumbs down. I don't know why you would want to, but you could, I guess. And so anyways, hopefully I'll start getting videos up every couple of days, and so I hope you'll have a great day, and we we'll talk to you later. Bye.